Alright there geezers, Jules here from FGS, home of the Future Game Show, and you've read the title. You can hear the weird off-kilter game show music growing and growing, and it's kind of sounding like you're in some sort of dystopian horror movie, and this can mean only one thing. I'm back again in search of a deep-cut champion, and it is time to play a game with a name way too long for an actual broadcast. It's time to play Have You Played These Obscure Games? Original Xbox Edition. Thank you. Oh, no, don't throw a shoe. Over the next 10 entries, I'm going to throw up titles from Microsoft's original big black box, and I want to know how many you've actually played. Put your score out of 10 down below, and at the end, let's see if we can't crown a deep cut champion. Mark, my editor, is going to be playing as well, so let's see if he can beat his score of, let me just check my notes from the previous episode. Oh, 0! 0 of those PS2 games, mate. I mean, I would make fun of you, but at the end of the day, you control the edit, so it can make me look as stupid as possible. So I know where my bread is buttered. So with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is FGS, and I want to know, have you played these obscure original Xbox games? Let's kick things off with number 10, Urban Chaos Riot Response. So my friends, let's kick things off in a very literal sense by looking at a game that has so much action that it's actually bursting at the seams. Urban Chaos Riot Response, or as it would also come to be known, welcome to 2024 for how our news kind of looks like it's just snippets of this game. Let's move on from the real world horrors actually, and let's talk about how this game is all about suiting up and booting down a violent gang known as the Burners, who have taken over the entire city. Plus, because bloody Rocksteady made this, you know that the action is top notch. And that action is running at a near constant setting as you'll be shooting, blasting, and straight up nuking enemies from the word go. It is fun, it is dumb, it is a relentless shooter, and to be honest, it's not even an expensive grab if you were looking to add it to your collection. In fact, the low price makes it all the more strange that barely anyone I've spoken to has played this game. Still, if you've laid down the law in Urban Chaos, I don't know why I went American for that one there, in Urban Chaos Riot Response, give yourself a deep cut point. Number 9, Kung Fu Chaos. Kung Fu Chaos. 3 little words that are sure to invoke a response in original Xbox gamers that will make their heart flutter like they were in some sort of 90s rom-com. This was our Power Stone, this was our Mario Party, and this was our kind of deep shame. Yeah, so here's the thing. While Kung Fu Chaos is an absolute barnstormer of a multiplayer title and is really well constructed and in places truly creative with its mechanics, there's one major thing in fact, that's holding it back that will forever prevent it from ever seeing the light of day on modern consoles as a remaster, a remake, or from ever being resold on a digital content store. And that is because it's racist as f***. And please don't embarrass yourselves in the comments. It is. Trust me on that one. It was something that was highlighted when the game was released, and if the good old people of 2003 are wincing at some of the voices and wonky delivery, then in 2024, well, it should come with a bloody hazard warning. It's kind of like Hogs of War. It's the same deal as that. I love that game, but it has to be played on mute because Rick Mayall's Japanese impersonations make me do that face that I make when I see my cat licking its crotch over and over again. Don't like this. Don't like this. Also, put on some pants, you utter degenerate. Still, if you've played this game, you can give yourself a deep cut point. Number 8, Darkwatch. Now, you know how people said around the release of Resident Evil 2's outstanding remake that Capcom was having its renaissance period? Well, if that was the renaissance period, then 2005 to 2006 was, hey, lads, have you heard of this little thing called bath salts period? Because they went utterly mad during this time. Devil May Cry 3, Killer 7, Haunting Grounds, a little title called Resident Evil 4, maybe you've heard of it, and an utter monster of a game that definitely did not get the recognition it truly deserved upon launch, Darkwatch. Not just the name of that haunted clock you bought off of the deep web, Darkwatch was an FPS title which sought to blend horror, action, and westerns all into one glorious package. In short, this game kicked ass, positioning the player as one Jericho Cross, who had been turned into a vampire cowboy of sorts and is now out to root/toot/shoot every monster that he comes across. It was that heady blend of utter silly ideals that could only have come out of the mid-2000s and is still a blast to play play today. In fact, the game sold so well that originally the franchise wouldn't just get a sequel, but a whole fully fledged movie. Unfortunately, neither came to pass, and so the only solace we can take is giving those that played this game a deep cut point. Pretty mediocre reward, right? Number 7, Breakdown. So here's the thing, pals. I'm putting this relatively obscure Xbox game fairly high up on this list because it's actually one you can get your hands on right now and for relatively cheap. And it's actually on current consoles thanks to Microsoft bizarrely adding it to their online stores and providing backwards compatibility for it. And yet, for all of this, I bet so many people just haven't played this unpolished gem. I do want to stress unpolished. This game is borderline bad. And that's because Breakdown is one of those games that has great ideas and intentions, but is let down by everything else. For example, Breakdown introduces the concept of having fistfights play out in a more tactical manner, with the player able to throw kicks and punches from different angles to get around the guard of their opponents. And while this is fun for a while, the terrible AI and pathing of enemies means that you'll be trying to engage them in fisticuffs while they're trying to navigate their way to you through a table and then a chair, then another table, then a wall. I'm gonna get ya, I'm gonna get ya. Are you really? Are you? How's that going? Atom by atom moving through the wall. One of these days I'm gonna get you. Yeah. Ooh, the pace of erosion is how fast you're going. I'm gonna pop out for a bit. Do you want anything? Nah, I'm good, mate. Actually, a Red Bull. I'll need to keep this energy up. Elsewhere though, the game shines with a compelling time-hopping narrative, amazing attention to immersion by having everything play out in the first person, and of course, for cementing the idea that drinking a soda or huffing a cheeseburger can repair a 50 cal bullet wound to the throat. Haha, video games. Logic be damned, right? You gotta love Breakdown for being so lovably weird and just odd, just really, really odd. Still, if you played it, give yourself a deep cut point. And speaking of lovably weird things, have you thought about subscribing to the FGS YouTube channel? Go on, do it, you coward, because if you do, you'll be staying up to date with all of the deep cuts with Jules Gill, a baby that goes live every single Friday, but also you'll be supporting the channel and our daily gaming endeavors. We put out shorts, put out dev interviews, we put out a ton of trailers and more information about video games around our showcases. You might have seen them, and also we've got a few interesting concept series that are coming up very soon. So subscribe now, become part of the little family that we're building here, and we'll reward you with good gaming, goodness. There's just subscribe. Anyway, let's move on from this shilly-gilly and talk about other people with gills as we talk about number 6, Call of Cthulhu. Right, my friends, it is time to get a little harder with these entries. You've had the appetizer, and now we're moving on to the fish supper with extra calamari in the form of Call of Cthulhu. Now, I won't lie to you, friends. When my roommate Rob and I went into Exeter one day and he came home with this game and I came home with the original Borderlands title, I thought I'd absolutely, positively won the who got the better bargain of the day. And while Borderlands is still one of my all-time absolute banger games, this fishy little stinker of a title sank deeper and deeper into my heart over the years to the point where I became utterly fascinated by it. To put it simply, Call of Cthulhu is a great gaming experience wrapped in often terrible video game delivery. It's a title that refuses at every turn to just bloody behave for a second and let you enjoy things, and instead makes you work for every step you take, bludgeoning you over the head with wonky combat, muddy sound mixing, and visuals that look like you're viewing things through actual tetanus. And yet it's because of all this suffering that Call of Cthulhu becomes a wonderful psychological horror on par with the likes of Pathologic and Kudelka. It's a wonky, often broken experience that is so utterly compelling, you'll just find yourself pulled across the finish line, whether you want to be or not. If you get the chance to play this game, simply do. And if you already have, well, congratulations, have a deep cut point. Number 5, Crusty Demons. Now hands up, you little demons, who's ready to get crusty? Yeah, I agree. Ooh, what? Who in their right mind would want to use the word crusty in their video game title? It's giving scabs, it's giving dirty, unwashed festival vibes. It's giving the whole of Bristol, which feels like it needs a power wash at this point in time. Seriously, I know you're obsessed with the 90s, but you could at least wash the clothes that you've just paid over the odds for at the vintage store once in a while. And I can say that because I used to live there. Stokes Croft. Ugh. I've seen things. And do you know what else I've seen? Crusty Bloody Demons, an extreme sports title that has a Wikipedia entry shorter than my patience for Pauly Shore movies.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
And yet, don't go thinking that this is a bad game as a result. Yes, it may be trashy, cheesy, and in some places utterly stupid, but it's actually a ton of fun to play. Blending the likes of Tony Hawk's Freestyle and even the ragdoll bone-breaking of the likes of Flat Out and Skate, all of which combines to be a surprisingly addictive experience. Plus, it has the stupidest, and I mean the most absolutely dumb plot ever, involving the devil giving these guys immortality in exchange for their souls. I'm sorry, what? Lucifer, were you out to lunch when your lawyer was punching up this contract? How can you collect on a soul for a body that can't ever die? Why would you even ever offer this? Still, for those truly crusty demons out there, give yourself a point if you played this. Number 4, Blackstone, Magic and S.T.E.A.L. Now, if there's one thing that Microsoft's original Xbox is known for outside of Master Chief and having a controller requiring actual shovel hands to use, it's the fact that this wasn't exactly the console of choice for RPG fans. Across its lifespan, the original AX barely had any RPGs to call its own, paling in comparison to the glut one could find on the PS2. And things weren't helped by the fact that the ones that did drop for this system were usually of the same quality as Blackstone, Magic and S.T.E.A.L, a game that absolutely haunted my childhood with its woeful gameplay and presentation. Listen, I never said that any of these games that I was going to feature on this obscure list were good. I mean, I think that we already know that by now, seeing as some of the other entries are questionable at best, but Cackstone, Magic and really did live up or down to that name. And to be honest, while I could rag on the game's graphics and its surprisingly bare bones plot, it's the controls that were the immediate and final nail in the coffin for me. You see, you're locked into your fighting animations, meaning that you can't cancel and move if you've accidentally mashed the attack button, which is going to happen a lot, as this is basically a hack and slash title with enemies endlessly respawning. It's an abysmally unfun thing to play on your own, because you're either going to be stun-locked by enemies or locked into position trying to dish out your own, meaning that the only way to succeed in many cases is to ignore enemies, find their spawn location, destroy that, and then clean out the area, all the while likely taking huge amounts of damage. Brilliant, right? Now, things are more amenable in the co-op mode, but good luck trying to convince anyone to play this tosh with you, because that's like trying to convince your mates that moving a sofa up 30 flights of stairs, but the sofa has actually got hornets inside, is going to be worth that cold, stale pizza afterwards. In this scenario, the pizza also has hornets inside. I mean, come on guys, I mean, have you tried getting rid of hornets once you put them off? Now you're being ridiculous here. Anyway, have a point if you played this piping hot garbage. Number 3, Sneakers. I'm looking forward to talking about this one. I really am. Right friends, there's no sneaking around the bush with this one. Sneakers, which aside from having a brilliantly different title in Japan, which was Nesmix Have a Mice Day, is not a good game. However, does that stop it from being an amazing game? No, absolutely not, because this is such an unhinged experience. I want, nay need you all to play this title at some point in your lives. For a start, that soundtrack will live rent-free in your head and then forevermore until you check yourself into rehab, because its upbeat, cheery tones combined with their infuriatingly short and repetitious runtime means that you'll be muting this game but still humming the tune anyway ad nauseum. Fantastic. Then you've got the gameplay, which appears at first to be a clunky exploration title in which you delve into areas to find clues, rewards, and interact with objects to solve easy puzzles. But then, right out of nowhere comes the goddamn warriors, because it pits you and your pack of mice against evil rats in a fight to the death. I'm sorry, did they staple the build instructions of this game with Warhammer? It sure looks like it with those World War I helmets the enemies are wearing. Honestly, I could list many things that I thought that a game based on a cute mouse would entail, like cheese, chewing holes in things, having a lifespan of like 18 months on average, but straight up Fight Club, surprisingly not. Still, it would also surprise me if anyone played this game, but like always, let me know if you did and give yourself a point. as well. Number 2, Tork Prehistoric Punk. Right, we had crusty bikers before. Let's now move on to prehistoric punks as we take a look at Tork Prehistoric Punk, a deep cut so severe you're likely to get lacerations just looking at it. Now this was another attempt by Ubisoft to break through the mascot platformer ceiling and kickstart a new franchise. However, things were kind of put on ice thanks to a shoddy development period. Well, that and the fact that has anyone with a boomerang ever captured the public's attention? Seriously, can you name me a game that includes a boomerang that isn't immediately obscure in some fashion? And no, Link doesn't count as he uses many other items, thank you kindly. I mean, like Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Adventure Island, Metal Gear Ghost Babel with its slasher hawk boss. Need I go on? Good, because I can't remember anymore because they're that obscure. Anyway, coming back on track, much like a boomerang to the bonds, let's walk the walk and talk the talk. As this game really did slip under the radar for many thanks to Microsoft shelving things after Ed Fries left the company. Thankfully, Ubisoft worked out a publishing deal and pushed the game to market, even giving it a budget price to sweeten the deal. However, it's argued that this, plus the protracted development, plus the fact that the game was just a big dollop of, yeah, it's fine I guess, plus the discounted price affected the perceived value and quality of the game, and so Tork, the prehistoric punk, got absolutely dunked on in the end. And number 1, Double S.T.E.A.L, the second clash. And so, we close on an amazing game with a brutally sad story. Double S.T.E.A.L, the second clash, a racing / combat / open world game in which you play as the police looking to bring the law crashing down on anyone trying to break it. That was a stupid joke, didn't even go anywhere. It looked amazing, had a really over-the-top storyline about corruption, the Yakuza, and fighting for what's right, and blended all of this with vehicular combat straight out of the Burnout franchise. So I ask you, my friends, what's not to love about this game? Well, I'll tell you what I didn't love, and that was finding out that this game was a Japanese exclusive despite the entire thing being recorded in English. Way to go, Activision, that'll really fire up the hard-to-win-over Japanese crowd that were already iffy on Microsoft's Xbox. Give them a game set in America in English. Good work, good times. What's even more maddening is that this was a pseudo-sequel to Reckless, and that was released in the West. So they denied us a brilliant game with better visuals and features to a franchise that was already being supported over here. It makes no sense. Still, if you managed to get your hands on a copy and played this, give yourself that final and truly most delicious deep cut point. And there you have it, my friends. Tally up your scores and let me know how you got on down in the comments below. And now, as is custom, we're going to throw to Mark, who's going to tell us about his score. Go on, mate. It's got to be higher than 0. It's got to be.
Hey guys, it's that time of the week. I know you've been looking really forward to this. Quite proud of how I've done this time. This week I got a score of 3. So a fair bit better. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Yay! Oh, I got 0 again. I'm going to take this away. Try to do better. There's not much else I can say at this time.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you and love you even more. So that is it. Did we crown a deep cut champion 10 out of 10 megastar? Let me know down in the comment section below. But that's been it for today's super special edition of the Deep Cut with Jules Gill, baby. I hope that you enjoyed that and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. Which console should I go to next? Because I'm loving doing these little game show style things. They're fun. I would like to actually go into the office in Bath and film one with the guys there and see how they do as well. That'd be quite fun, actually. But in the meantime, if you'd like to chat to me on the social medias, you can follow me over here, and you can follow my lovely editor Mark over on his social medias over here as well. I hope you're taking care of yourself, my friends. At the end of the day, no matter what score you got, I know that you're a big legend. That is way better than being an obscure gaming superstar mega champion, even though I have just hyped it up with that amazing tagline right there. Trust me. Being a big ledge means a lot more. Be kind to yourself, all right? Be kind to others as well. Start building bridges instead of burning them. And remember, above all else, I just want you to live a healthy and happy life. So start your day with that bit of self-kindness, all right? Big love from me to you. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.